guys, Drago2020 here, and today we're here to redo Diluc vs Tartag. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Anyways, let's get right in the video.
Perfect.
Alright, Diluc vs Tartag. Here's how the fight's gonna go. So Diluc, he's gonna have his father's delusion and his own vision, and Tartag is gonna have whatever he has at a certain point of the story. So we're gonna do Leeway Tartag, Fontaine Tartag, and Full Power Tartag. I want you to think about this for a second. Instead of just going up to Venti before the Dvalin fight and taking the Gnosis, she intentionally waited until after the Dvalin fight to take the Gnosis. She was intentionally waiting for him to go up and fight Dvalin because she knew that he would be fatigued. So she went in, took the Gnosis, and then left. She knows that Animal Travel fought with Venti against Dvalin. So that means Signora knew about Travel's abilities. She knew that he was comparable to the Animal Archon. So what information did Tartag get that made him think that he could take on the Traveler? Most likely Signora lied to Tartag and said that he could take the Traveler. So that way she could throw him off from the actual plan that she and Morax was working on. So when Tartag said that he thought he could take him, that was off of false information that Signora intentionally gave him. Since Diluc and Animal Traveler are comparable to each other, that would make Diluc capable of beating Leeway Tartag the same way Geo Traveler beat Leeway Tartag, because the Traveler should be at least twice as powerful as he was in the previous arc. That would mean that he was still scaled to Diluc, so Diluc wins round 1. And since this is Delusion Diluc with both his vision and delusion, this fight is just a stop. In the original Diluc vs Tartag video, I somehow managed to get Tartag higher than what I just said by using some random jobber's opinion, treated it like fact, and then used that in my versus match. No, we're not doing that. So Diluc takes round 1. Round 2. In a video that may or may not be out at the time of me releasing this one, I said that Diluc, the Traveler, and Jean could either be 1/4 Dvalin or 1/3 Dvalin with contacts. In another video that I don't know if I released at this point, when you're seeing it, I said that a delusion can buff a character 10 to 100 to at most 1,000 times. In this situation, Diluc might not be getting that much of a buff, seeing as Diluc's delusion is so crudely made it doesn't even have an elemental insignia. It's pyro, by the way. A vision should make a user 2 to 10 times more powerful. This particular delusion should make Diluc 5 to 20 times more powerful. If Fontaine Tartag transformed into Foul Legacy, he would have beaten Nervalet, plain and simple. Based off of the math that I talked about with Diluc should be either as powerful as Nervalet or much stronger than Nervalet. So the two in terms of stats are very similar. Tartag at least fought the whale for 3 days straight. If Tartag fought the whale non-stop for 3 days, this fight automatically goes to Tartag because there's nothing to suggest that Diluc can fight for that long. However, if Tartag fought the whale, got knocked out or passed out, got up and fought the whale again repeatedly for 3 days, then this is a lot closer. And honestly, I don't know who would win, because if 5 battles were to happen between these two under this scenario, Diluc or Tartag could come out with 5 or 6 victories in those 10 battles. In my original Diluc vs Tartag video, I said that Tartag would just lose because he doesn't have his Hydro Vision anymore and wasn't able to extinguish Diluc's attacks. I maintained that, but I ended the fight too quickly because I didn't have this context that I just talked about. I'm very tempted to give this fight to Diluc, seeing as Tartag is using a delusion and Foul Legacy in its strongest state. Seeing as we don't know how the fight between Tartag and the whale went, and anything I say is just speculation, I'm gonna give this fight to Diluc. Understand that this is a very close matchup. It fatigued, nerfed Foul Legacy Tartag, outshined Nervalet, and Delusion Diluc should be comparable to this. If you don't want to give this to Diluc and you think that Tartag would win, I could agree with that as well, but I'm going with Diluc in this scenario. Round 3. I'm just gonna make this one quick. Tartag wins. If before the round was close and it needed some kind of a tiebreaker, here Tartag just straight up wins. Because here's the deal, the whole premise of Delusion Diluc going up against Tartag is to have a person who's using a vision in a delusion go up against another person who has a vision in a delusion, because visions passively buff the user without them even using the elements. One of the passive buffs is resistance to negative effects, especially resistance to access elemental energy. Both Delusions and Foul Legacy have that type of negative status effect. So this version of Tartag is not only twice to 10 times more powerful than we saw him in Fontaine, but he should also be way more durable and have a lot more longevity in terms of stamina. Tartag now has access to his strongest attack, that Will attack. In Foul Legacy, there's no chance that Diluc is going to be able to survive it or clash against it and win, or even stalemate it. So I'm going to give round 3 to Tartag. So Diluc has 1 to 2 victories and Tartag has 1 to 2 victories. And I say 1 to 2 because round 2 could have went either way. I just needed a tiebreaker. So I'm just going to end this off by saying that this whole versus match is essentially one big tie. But I will say this, lore accurate Diluc with just his vision would lose the Fontaine Tartag and full power Tartag. So it's not even discussion. Diluc needed his vision and delusion to fight later versions of Tartag. He just does. Otherwise he just gets stomped and it wouldn't be an interesting discussion whatsoever. So if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful day.